Mr. Ansab is back today. Zulfeh, how you doing, brother?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming down, and a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Right, brother, I've seen a lot about you on TikTok. Tell us your story.
Okay, quick background. Born and raised in Batley, West Yorkshire, not far from here. Typical, I suppose, Asian upbringing. Parents that worked hard, came from Pakistan. Father was working in factories and a taxi driver. Wanted to get the children educated, so I went down the law road. Qualified as a lawyer in 2015. Opened up a law firm in 2018. Hated it, and then I gave it all up in 2018.
Right.
And then I started various different things, which I'm sure we'll get into as we get into this podcast. But that included starting offline businesses, online businesses, M&A, buying and selling businesses, crypto, starting a podcast, making videos online. And then about 3 years ago, I started working with a company in Saudi Arabia where we worked on several different things, including helping startups raise investments, putting together VC funds, helping international companies go to market over there, and Sharia compliant investments like apartments in Medina. And then recently I've started something locally in Batley called the Batley Entrepreneurship Club, which is to encourage more positivity first and foremost in the UK, because there's a lot of negativity at the moment.
Right, yeah, absolutely, Zulfeh. So, Zulfeh, I want to talk about all of that.
Okay.
All of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, where should we start? First of all, buying properties in Medina. I'm looking at, a lot of people are looking at options abroad now.
Okay.
Buying in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this?
So the biggest obstacle right now is, especially if you're looking at places like Makkah and Medina, foreign ownership at the moment is still not allowed. It's changing. In parts of Riyadh, I think you can.
Yes.
But in these particular places, which Muslims hold most dear, direct ownership isn't allowed. Now there's structures around that, but it's still not in your name, which is for a lot of people that's off-putting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Right. I've heard of that. You cannot buy in Mecca or Medina. But most places in Saudi Arabia, there are a few locations apparently where they had a Trump Tower there and so on, and a few locations where you can actually buy it. And I think they've got new laws kicking in for next year. But again, in only very specific locations.
Yes, specific locations. And also with Saudi Arabia, you've got to also bear in mind, they're not looking to bring anyone into the country. Say, for example, like the UAE was. So people comparing Saudi to the UAE is completely different. UAE is 70, 80, 90% expat. The majority in Saudi Arabia is a local community, and they're proud of that local community. So at the moment, people in the West thinking, we're going to go over there, they're going to open it up to us. They're not. They're at the moment looking for either the very top talent or the very rich people that will go in there and build the local economy.
Now that's what I've heard, where basically what they're looking at doing over there is, the scheme that's involved is, if you spend over $1 million USD, you can own the freehold.
Yes.
And there's a lifetime visa.
You get a visa, premium residency visa they call it. Yes.
And now you've been to Saudi Arabia. I'm assuming you've stayed there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For people who are of Pakistani descent, like me and you, born and raised over here, is it a viable alternative? Because many of us are looking to leave the UK.
I've had this conversation with a lot of people. So
I bet you have. Yeah.
It depends on what you're looking to do. So first and foremost, right, Saudi Arabia isn't easy, and this is what a lot of people need to understand. Because a lot of people are finding it difficult here. You're not going to go over there and find an easy life. You still have to work really hard to make it work. Now, a lot of things that we get here in the UK get taken for granted. We've got so many luxuries here, which we don't see as luxuries anymore because we're just so used to it. Something as simple as setting up a business. How easy is it to set up a business here? In Saudi, it's going to take you 6 to 12 months.
Really?
It's going to cost you a lot of money, and you're going to go through a lot of hurdles, and that process in and of itself will put a lot of people off. I've been through it, helping other people do it, and it really is a difficult process. So there you have to get something called a MISA license, which is the Ministry of Investment in Saudi Arabia. Then you've got to get the commercial registration, and then you've got to get other things done after that. So that process, they say 3 to 6 months, but in reality it takes longer than that, because there's so many changes. Even the people that are working for MISA, they will tell you different things. So you speak to one person, he'll tell you something. You speak to another, he'll tell you something else. So that is a process that we in the UK are not used to, because we're used to getting things done like that.
So, Zulfeh, even if I want to go over there and set up, for example, I want to buy some flats and start an Airbnb type business,
Yeah.
I'd still need some sort of business
You
license.
need a license, yes,
Oh my
100%. Yes.
Right,
Yes.
okay.
And that'll probably be a real estate license, which is probably a lot more expensive than a service license, for example.
Really?
It's very, very complicated. Like even we were using agents to help us to do it, and even they were surprised by some of the criteria needed, because it's just so constantly changing, which is expected.
Right, okay. So it's not going to be that straightforward. I had big plans of maybe
You can
looking
still
at...
do it. You
Yeah.
can still do it, but you need a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of pesa.
Right, a lot of money, yeah?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Right, okay, oh dear. Right. So I've also been looking at other options such as Oman maybe.
Okay.
But again, sometimes I think it might be a case of the grass is always greener.
So let me ask you this: why do you want to leave the UK? Obviously, there's a lot of negativity, but what is that specific problem for you right now that I want to leave here?
Right. It's number one. It's very depressing over here.
Okay.
Lack of opportunities. I'm a little bit older than you, I think, and every year it's getting harder and harder over here.
Mm-hmm.
This country is dying.
Okay.
It's decaying, right? And I think what they're trying to do is stop the decline as much as they can do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, and I'm just thinking: is it more a case of there's better opportunity in places like Saudi Arabia? You know, is it a better quality of life as well?
Yes and no. Yes, obviously it's a lot more chilled out there, right?
Yeah.
They've got the Vision 2030
Yes.
plans, which are amazing. You go over there. Like, first and foremost, I want to make clear, like, I haven't spent a lot of time over there. I've been over a couple of times, but I have spoken to people that live there as well, and they say the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So
Okay.
one of, I suppose, there's a feeling that in Saudi Arabia, the people of the Pakistani Indian community get discriminated, or they get seen as low class. That doesn't necessarily always come from the people of Saudi Arabia. It might come from middle management, which are expats from other countries. So
Right.
what was explained to me by somebody who was working there is those guys that are middle management are on high salaries. They've got to justify their salaries, so they whip those underneath them. And it makes life difficult for those people that are underneath them, which is where most people are going to start if you're moving across. Now, that's obviously one example, but other people are, they're enjoying life there, but they still say the same thing. They've had to work really hard. It requires a lot of grit, of perseverance. It's different, right? Whether it's easy or not is a question of perspective. It's going to be difficult because any move is going to be difficult, but really it comes down to what is it that you really want to do. Because what I'm seeing when people are asking me is they're not looking at it as a place to really grind and work. They're looking at, I want to relax a little bit,
Yeah.
and chill out.
Chill out. That's it.
No, that's not going to happen.
Really?
It's not going to happen.
Damn! Change your plan.
Unless you've already got the financial means to do that. Yes, if you haven't, then it's going to require hard work. Same with Pakistan, right? A lot of people
Yeah.
would love to go to Pakistan. If you've got the money, you're going to live like a king. But if you haven't, you're going to have to grind over there.
Have you been to Pakistan many times?
So I haven't been recently, but I altogether probably been about 10, 11 times.
Right. I mean, it does have a lot of possibilities over there, but I think just the level of corruption.
100%. 100%.
It just kills you.
100%.
It's not work. It was getting better under Imran Khan.
Yes.
And even to a certain degree, it's still not too bad. And it's, I think it's very, I don't want to criticise the current regime in charge, but they are working wonders. But people were a lot happier when Imran Khan was in charge.
Yeah.
I think it was going the right way. But then the way people saw it in their mind was, this could happen to Imran Khan, it could happen to us.
Exactly. And that's the big, if they
Yeah.
can do that to Imran Khan, who are we?
Exactly.
Who are we, right?
Yeah.
So, again, it depends on who you speak to. So there's people who've moved over there, they are living their lives, they're happy.
Absolutely, lots of them.
Yeah,
And
so-
lots of them will be watching these videos as well. And to be honest, I have seen a lot of people looking back in hindsight of a lot of the policies Imran Khan brought in. They weren't brilliant.
No.
In hindsight,
Yep.
we can say some of them were, he looks very nice in a band shirt, gives a good speech.
Yep.
He looks the part, but really we look at substances behind it, really. And some of the comments he made about women was absolutely silly. I think his relationship with Saudi Arabia, I didn't like the way that went.
Okay.
He was driving MBS around.
Yeah.
It all looked very, very good. But then when push came to shove, it fell apart very quickly. Now we've got different people in charge of Pakistan.
Yep.
And there's a defence agreement kicking in.
Yep.
You know, so things do look very, very different. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm hoping one day Pakistan could potentially change and become a viable alternative for people like us
Yes.
to shift back to.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's always been a dream for a lot of people. But to be honest, I'm actually pro UK, and I actually think that we've got good things here in the UK.
Yeah.
And I think we take a lot of things for granted because we're just so used to having these luxury. Okay, fine, it might be on a decline, but how do you resolve that? Do you just leave the country?
Abandon ship, innit?
Abandon ship,
Run
leave
for
the
it,
country,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare the lifestyle that we've got compared to what our parents' generation, you know, they suffered, they got battered, they got packy bashed,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So if they've gone through all that sacrifice to give us an education, to get us qualified, to make us professional, to set up businesses, isn't it to some extent us being ungrateful, saying forget the sacrifices you made, we're not having an easy life anymore, let's jump ship and go find an easy life somewhere else?
Yeah. Good point, actually. I mean, I spoke with someone, Arshalahi, I was speaking with him yesterday, and he was saying the same thing, where don't underrate the UK. It's going to bounce back hard 100%. At some point. So I'm fingers crossed. I've still got a lot of faith in the UK, but yeah, tell us more about yourself and these businesses that you're working with. And you're saying you're promoting businesses in Batley, entrepreneurs, yeah?
Yeah, Batley. So Batley Entrepreneurship Club started really just to help the younger generation, right? So I stayed in law for so long because I hated it and I thought there's nothing else for me to do. There's no opportunities out there, which is what we're talking about. But then when I started doing my own thing, when I started, working with this company in Saudi Arabia, I'm like, there's just so many opportunities out there. You just have to put yourself in a position to experience them and build your connections, build your network, and just go out there. So the initial kind of thing was, one, to stop the negativity in the UK, and secondly, give people hope, right? Because at the moment, everyone's so negative about the UK.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're making the next generation feel that there's no point in doing anything. Why try? Is that really what we want to be passing on to the next generation? No, it's not, right? So you've got to give them hope, give them pathways, give them support, make them realize that if you work hard, there are opportunities for you out there. And that's how it kind of started, but it's been morphing in real time, and we've been doing some events, having some speakers coming to Batley,
right.
And now we're just helping some people trying to set up businesses, start their business, network and stuff.
How much of an effect have you had, do you think, with the younger generation?
It's only been about 6 to 8 months, so it hasn't been long. From a brand building perspective, it's gone really well. Like, I literally have had young people stop me in Batley saying thank you for setting this up.
Yeah.
And more because I think they're just so tired of all the negativity, and now that they're seeing something, actually I can actually do something, or there is support out there is encouragement out there. So I think first and foremost, we've got a massive role to play in just changing that perception. Right now the perception is, forget the UK, taxes are high, digital IDs are coming in, surveillance state's coming in. To that I say, well, you're complaining about a surveillance state coming in here to the UK, and your argument or your action is to go to a place where a surveillance state already exists in Dubai.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. I think we're going to have, if it is a surveillance state, if we have CCTV cameras everywhere, people don't like it until there's a crime committed against you, and the police can instantly track them down. And I think to a certain degree, I don't like to say this, but even when they come in with a digital pound, which is coming now, if you're not doing anything wrong, they're going to know everything.
They already know everything, right?
Yeah. And there'll be nothing to hide. But if you're not doing any money laundering, you're not being paid cash in hand, you've not really got much to worry about.
100%.
So let's see how it goes. But I think you've done a really good job there. Appreciate it. Inspiring people, pushing them along. They do need some sort of inspiration, and that's what a lot of this content I make is about.
Absolutely.
It's about properties and business. And is that the kind of thing you were covering? Is also properties and business? Is that correct?
So one of the partnerships I've signed is with a company called Century 21. They're a global brand, but it's a franchise model. So I've partnered with the Leeds franchisee. So that's purely dedicated to property. So one of the pathways that we've opened up is for people to actually become self-employed real estate agents.
Right.
So they take care of the real estate trading and setting up the business and the compliance and all of that. And then on our side, we help with the soft skills, how to market yourself, how to communicate, how to find investors, etc. So they've got two-pronged support system. So they're being trained up on how to go out and find properties, how to sell them, how to find investors, off-market deals, on-market deals. Again, it's still in the early stages,
Right.
because this hasn't been running that long. But that's the kind of idea. The idea isn't, come look at me, I'm doing this. It's,
Yeah.
I'm bringing in the right people together as like a magnet. Who can I connect with who, and how can I support you to build whatever it is that you want to build, whether that's on the property side, whether it's on an online business, whether it's some kind of other business, whatever it is. The opportunity in the UK still is magnificent,
It is,
but
yeah.
you can't be in that comfort zone. And I think this is where a lot of people are falling off. They want to use that employee comfort energy
Yeah.
to build a business, and you'll know more this than anyone. It doesn't work like that.
It's very difficult. I mean, sometimes you can be stuck in a job where you're earning good money,
Yes.
a corporate job, and you're completely unhappy. And I was earning a six-figure salary doing what I was doing,
Yes.
and it was a dog's
Trains
life.
you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Trains you.
yeah, and it was horrible, you know. And it was, everyone hated me because I was a large Pakistani guy who was very good at what he did.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't like it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
you know. And the women were okay with it.
Yeah.
The men not so much. And work from home came. That was great. That kind of protected me from certain things.
Yes.
Now, what I think one of the biggest problems I had was most avenues where people get to express their racism is in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they're not going to have much interactions with you.
Yeah.
So it manifests itself in the workplace where they just feel that overwhelming need to get something off their chest,
Mm-hmm.
at a subconscious level even.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of thankful that hopefully my kids won't be going through what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a case of racism used to be bad when our parents' generation, got
Yes.
a lot better for us than after September 11th and so on. So I think it's got a lot worse now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think, in particular, I think we've seen lots of funding coming from outside states, so they can push their agendas.
Yes.
That's been the problem we've had at the moment, I think.
Yeah. To be honest, I think that's I wouldn't say a global issue, but it is, because it's just the world we live in now,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm not an expert on this stuff, but when you talk about, I don't know if you heard of this concept, third, fourth, fifth, sixth generation warfare,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's
absolutely,
different
yes.
generation of warfare, right?
This is
We're
what it
all
is.
we're all part of it now. Social
It is, yeah.
media is, it's got many benefits, but it's got
Yeah.
many negatives. But one of the things that people need to realize is this is a weapon of war, right?
Yeah, it is.
Media is a weapon of war. Social media is a weapon of war. So we are all part of this kind of global war. It's not always physical fighting like happening in Palestine and Gaza. There's a psychological warfare as well, right?
Okay.
And these things are brilliant for conducting psychological
Absolutely.
warfare.
So just to make people aware, I've got this account. I've also got an account where I talk about politics more, and that's a bit more rough and ready. And I see lots of bots coming in,
Mm-hmm.
right? In particular from India, from so and so, trying to control the narrative,
Yes.
and they're clearly bots.
Yes.
Then on top of that, there's people behind those bots sometimes as well. Sometimes they're run by AI. Sometimes there's actual people in there,
Mm-hmm.
and what they're trying to do is make out there from this place and trying to control this narrative. And lots of people have been brainwashed by this.
Yeah.
Now, you've got lots of people in India, lots of people in Israel in particular. You've got members of the IDF who are just sat there leaving comments willy-nilly galore.
Yeah.
Now, and the IDF have outsourced a lot of this to India.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something like 8% of the world's hateful comments against Muslims come from India.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And ever since, I think Elon Musk knew about this, and hence the reason he changed the details on Twitter so he could see country of origin, because he knew full well it'd be revealed that most of them were coming from India,
Yes.
pretending to be white supremacist.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and his name's Karthik from Mumbai or something.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate slap in the face, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of that at the moment. But yeah, fifth generation warfare. I think it's more of a case of so they can control the narrative, and I think that's a lot of these flag protests that we're seeing at the moment. All the funding is coming from one country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That country, a certain country in the Middle East.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's deeper than that. And one book I would recommend everyone read is called The Sovereign Individual. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Right. No, not heard of that.
So it's called Sovereign Individual, and it's written by the father of Jacob Rees-Mogg. So Jacob Rees-Mogg was that
Really?
politician. So his father wrote this book with somebody else. I've forgotten the name, David Williamson. And in there, they basically say that from a historical context, the church was the ruling power.
Yes.
And when it started to lose its ruling power, it got violent, it got corrupt, and it tried to maintain that power by stamping down on people. But eventually, it lost its power. And then now the ruling class was the state. Democracy, whatever. But what's happened with democracy and capitalism? Corruption has come back into it, and it started to crumble. But then what happened with the information age is that allowed individuals to become sovereign. So if you didn't like the work system back in the day, you had no other choice, you had to still work. But when the information age came out, you could start an online business, you could do Amazon FBA, you could do whatever.
Yeah.
And you as an individual could become financially free. That creates sovereign individuals. But then that means that you're not relying on the state anymore. So the state lose control, and therefore they're going to now clamp down because they want that control back. So all of this stuff you see about taxes and this and that and the other is because the technology that we have today allows people to become sovereign individuals, become free. The state don't like that, so they're clamping down on it. So that's why a lot of the stuff that you see happening in the UK, I think that's the main driver, because a lot of people here have legitimate avenues to become free, because we're not here living in a dictatorship. We're not living under a monarchy. We've got democracy. Whether you agree with how it's run is a different thing.
No, absolutely. But how do you see it going here? Just from your 2 cents, from your experiences on the ground, how do you see it going with our democracy? Are we heading for reform government, right-wing government? Are we going to see right-wing governments all across Europe? What's your thoughts?
So I think that obviously they're getting a lot of traction, but in terms of the sovereign state, I think that's what every country is heading towards. They want that to happen. And to follow on that last point, before I move on to your question, is if the information age allows for sovereign individuals, the AI age will allow for sovereign societies.
Right.
Meaning,
Good point. I like that.
if you and a group of people come together, use AI, use your entrepreneurial skills, you can actually create your own communities which can become independent of the state, independent of the government. But then they're not going to like that, because they completely lose their power. And that's why they want to clamp down on everything. They want to know, and that's why we're going to get the digital pound, digital cryptos, because they want to control the whole economy. Because at the moment, we legitimately, for the first time in the history of humanity, have the technology to create our own towns and cities and be independent.
Yeah.
And they're not going to like that, so that's how they're going to crack down. So that's why you see a lot of hate and violence and division, because if people are too busy fighting about racism and this problem and that problem, they're not thinking about building cities. They're not thinking about building their businesses. They're not thinking about building their people. They're thinking about it's us versus them.
Yeah.
So first, we need to stop that kind of narrative. I think obviously there are problems, and let's not pretend that they're not a problem. There are serious problems. They are going to get more traction, but at the same time, for all of the support that a reform can get, the Muslim community can get that same support if you put out the right content, if you put out the right initiatives, if you work hard. What can be a better barrier or defense against Islamophobia than saying, look, we've built these massive businesses in the UK, we're giving people jobs, we're creating the economy or helping with the economy. What response have they got to that? But if we just say, you know what, we're victims of racism, we're leaving the country, Reform are doing this and they're doing that, which they are, but is our response to run, or is it to build?
My view is this, where we need to hit back with, it's one tactic, brutal honesty, right? So we turn around to reform voters and say, what's the real issue here? The real issue here, which you're not prepared to admit, is your inability to talk about race and not get all swivel-eyed and say something stupid and say something silly. That's really what it is. Is the issue over here that you're worried about the white majority dwindling? Is that what it is? Is it the number of brown faces you're seeing all around you? Is that the issue over here? Is it your declining birth rates? Is that the problem over here? Is it the number of white people you're seeing around? Is that the problem? You know, and it's a case of we can't have that conversation with them. We can have that because, typically speaking, Zulfie, this is just how I see it. People who are Pakistanis, we view race very differently. We don't have the same concept of race as white people over here do. Number one, we're Muslims, right? There's no race as far as we're concerned. God will judge us on Judgment Day equally, regardless of our race. And it makes it clear in the Quran as well, yeah? Number two, we're all immigrants in India. We're all refugees. We're all thrown out from various parts. And it's even across India, the view of race is very, very different over there. And I think what we're seeing over here is they're seeing you go into maternity clinics and they're seeing lots of brown babies. And that's, you know, they might not say it, but that's bugging them. That, you know, are we going to have, because you've seen the right Tommy, whatever he's called, two names. He's been sort of saying, look, we're going to have a non-white majority by year X or year Y. And how do you tackle that if you can't even talk about it? You know, is that really what the issue is? So that's how I see things, really. You know, and to be honest, how do you tackle this? Well, number one, you've got to understand, rather than by them, if they just weren't racist, they could have said, for example, let's look at the Muslims. How are the Muslims dealing with this? Number one, they're not racist. They don't view it by race. There's pressure from the family to have kids. The religion says you're meant to marry, have kids, ideally if you can do. It's made acceptable to have arranged marriages. You know, adopting kids is very easy. But I think these are the kinds of things that if we could have this conversation openly, it might resolve things over here, but I don't know if we ever will be able to. What do you think? I
think there's, like I said, there's deeper issues here, and racism is just surface level. Right? I think globally people are hurting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of economic challenges
around
the world, even in first world countries now, like the US and the UK.
Yeah.
And people are just so worn out and tired, and when you're in that negative state, you become easily susceptible to propaganda, right? So if you look online now, right, sometimes it's better not to be online.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So online, you see all kinds of rubbish, racism. You know, you're saying there's no racism in Muslims. I disagree with that. I see a lot of racism in Muslims.
Right, really?
Right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Pakistanis and Indians fighting?
Yeah, that's Indians though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Pakistan and India?
Yeah.
I've probably never seen more racism than anyone else, but when Indians and Pakistanis are fighting.
Right, yeah.
Right? And that doesn't just go on the colour of the skin. Especially when Hindus and Muslims start fighting.
Yeah.
It gets very, very ugly.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, yeah.
racism isn't just from one.
That's
right. I think we need to be very clear about that, because otherwise it's always look at them, they're doing this, and it's never look at us, what about us?
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying that there's issues all around, there's deeper issues, but if you do not raise the level of, first and foremost, education and understanding, and the economic climate for the majority, they're always going to be locked in this negativity and then easily susceptible to the propaganda, which is what we're seeing online by groups like Reform and other things. But it happens on the other side as well, right?
Yeah.
So the conversations need to happen 100%, but I think we need more positive role models coming out in public, people that are more sensible, more civilized, that can have discussions like this, that doesn't turn into a clickbait rage fest.
Yeah.
Because that's what social media is at the moment. Whatever's going to get the most clicks, what's going to get the most rage.
Right. Okay. So Zulfie, here's what I find. If I make positive content, I'm going to get a certain amount of hits for that. Not going to be huge, but if I really want to go for, you know, just the views, make it, you know, say Indians. I'm going to have to disagree with you slightly. So I'm going to say, is it racism? I can see where you're coming from there, but a lot of it, I'd say, more ideological, religious type issues over there. India, Pakistan in particular. It seems to be something unresolved from partition.
Yeah.
Even before then, I'd say. You know,
Well, we still have a caste system, right?
yeah. Well, in India they do, yeah.
But even in Pakistan, I mean, it's not as so much as prevalent as it
Yeah.
used to be. But you still hear stories about some thinking they're higher status because of the
Yeah,
caste.
yeah. I mean, some people won't marry out. I think it's more left over here, to be honest. But even it's dying out over here. But over there, I think it's just a case of there they've got things about bleaching the skin.
Yes. Why? Do you want to be white?
Yeah, that's they want to bleach the skin, and some of them really want to be like we are, and don't understand why we're not going out and getting smashed every day. They can't work it out. You know, why are you so Islamic when you're living in the West?
Yeah.
You know, because we want to go and live in the West, and we literally want to be just white, be living exactly right, and we don't get it. You know, so I think that part of the world has got different issues. I think it's heading towards a major war over there, one way or another.
Yeah.
I think between India and Pakistan, India, Pakistan, potentially even Bangladesh and China, maybe even Afghanistan. I think we're heading towards a larger war there at some point.
Okay.
I think it's the way they're positioning themselves, the way the armies are building up their forces, in particular.
Yeah.
At some point, I think something's going to go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But again, we've been hearing about World War III is about to kick off now for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
How many things have happened? Oh, this is the start of World War III.
Yeah,
How many things
yeah.
have happened?
But war on terror,
Yeah.
we've had
We've had COVID, we've had so many things, right?
Yeah.
You can say World War III can happen at any moment. That's if we've got, you know, a world where countries have got nuclear weapons, World War III could happen at any moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it'd be very stupid for any country to do it because
True.
nobody's surviving that.
I think if the Pakistanis are now heading towards military supremacy of the Indians, and this has been going on for a while. I've been following this. I've been a member of Pakistani Defence Forums for over 25 years.
Okay.
And I've been following the technological development they've had, and Chinese Defence Forums as well.
Yeah.
And I've seen people come into the military, be posters, and retire. You know, so and all along we've kind of seen the Pakistani militaries is catching up. It's overtaken.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, if they've got the ability to take Kashmir, are they going to do it? That's really what I think it comes down to. And I think what the way they see it is, if they're presented with the opportunity to annex Kashmir, and China gets involved as well, they're going to annex some land from India as well. Bangladesh gets involved, they get to take some land as well. And I think what it comes down to is they feel cornered to a certain degree. They feel like they now have one of the world's best military, which they do. They feel they've introduced groundbreaking technology, which they have done. But no one knows because they're rather peaceful. They don't go to wars the way the Western nations do. But the Pakistanis do. So what we've seen happen between Pakistan and India, the way Pakistan totally dominated them in the air war recently, was an indication of the way it's already gone. It's only the difference is only going to increase much further. So now when that happens, at some point the Chinese are very methodical in their approach and slow and sure. Pakistanis, you know, they don't want to boast about their abilities. Pakistanis different ball game. They're going to jump up and down and dance. We shot down 4 of your planes. We did this up yours, you know, so and so. Yeah, but different approach. So I see it heading. If they've got supremacy over the Indians, they're going to use it as pressure to get back Kashmir, or flat out war. That's how I see it going. With maybe Chinese and other nations getting involved.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be global alliances, and there's always going to be, again, it goes back to that what we were talking about earlier, 4th, 5th, 6th generation warfare. You know, some people are talking about 7th generation warfare.
Absolutely,
right?
yes, can happen.
So, you know, I used to look into this stuff a lot, and it used to make me angry sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I realized we are in such a state of disinformation warfare.
Yes.
We are never going to know the truth and who's on whose side and who's doing what and who's got a pact with who.
Yeah.
And so the way I see it now is I actually don't spend that much time on the and this is coming from me who spent a lot of time on this. Right now, my view is, can I control anything that's happening over there? Absolutely not. What can I actually control? I'm living in the UK. Can I help people in my community?
Yeah, good point.
And that's why I've gone away from trying to move internationally to start a local community club.
Right.
Even if we, for example, we go back to the point earlier, even if people did start leaving this country, is everyone going to leave this country here?
Probably not.
No. So what's going to happen to the people that we leave behind?
That's a good point.
Are we just going to leave them behind?
Yeah, good
Or
point.
are we going to help the local community, help the people that we can help? There's so many issues here. You've got mental health issues. You've got
Absolutely.
violence. You've got all kinds
Yes.
of stuff happening, right? Wondering what's going to happen with World War III, and again, this is something that I used to do a lot.
Yeah.
But then I realized I'm actually wasting time here. I'm not really helping anyone. I'm not helping myself because I'm just living in this constant state of anxiety and fear of what's going to happen. And I'm scrolling Twitter.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know who the people on Twitter are. Like half of my bots, like you mentioned.
This is it. Yeah, half of them India.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk, I've been watching. I've been following him. His tweets have been getting crazier and crazier. Yeah. We're talking about the sort of the white people are declining as a race now.
Yeah.
Birth rates are dropping.
So what I find interesting is now, right, is whichever community you look at, whichever community, whether it's based on skin color, religion, a large portion of them online are saying we're oppressed. So the Muslims saying we're oppressed, we're being targeted. The Jewish community are saying the same thing.
Yes, true.
The white people are now saying the same thing as well.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's saying the same thing. Why is that? There's a pattern here.
Yeah.
Why is everyone feeling that they're the ones being targeted and oppressed?
That's a good point, actually.
Because the way the algorithms now work is, if you think you're being oppressed, you like that post of your people being oppressed, and your feed is now going to be full of content showing your people being
very
oppressed.
true. That is very, very true. Sometimes I've made some content about one or two issues, such as Afghanistan and Pakistan, and now my feed is constantly full of Afghans, and it's not really something I'm too focused on, but hey ho, that is. But Zulfeh, from your experience working with local communities in particular, with entrepreneurs over here, business people, from how do you think it's going to be in 2026? Because this year's been a tough year for everybody. What's your gut feeling about next year?
I'm actually more positive and optimistic than most people, and I think that comes down to, first and foremost, me changing my own mindset. Like, I've been through it, right? I even tried to leave the country, a few years ago, right? But even in the spiritual traditions and the woo-woo, if you want to call it, say where focus goes, energy flows.
You're absolutely right. No, I'm fully with you there.
So if you what we're doing in the and I've given this example to people, Saudi Arabia right now is brilliant. Why? Because every positive, they highlight it.
Yes.
Highlight it. Any negative, brushed under the carpet.
Yeah.
In the UK, we're the opposite. Any positive, brush it under the carpet. Anything negative, let's give it the flashy.
That's a very good point.
And if all we're thinking is negative, all we're going to see is negativity. But when you start focusing on what you can change, a little bit of positivity here, there, a little bit of positivity over there, all of a sudden that starts to gain momentum.
So do you think we're going to bounce back as an economy, business-wise, everything next year?
That depends on the people, right? If the people are willing to put in the work, obviously it's getting harder. It's getting harder everywhere around the world, right?
Yeah.
There's no easy place. It's going to get harder, yes. It was easier a few years ago to build businesses, to build careers. It's getting harder. But, if you think you're going to just run to another country and it's going to be easy, it's not, right?
Right.
Why not use the platform you've got, the privileges that you've got, and try to build something? Yeah, it's going to be harder, but use this as a personal development tool. Maybe I need to get better now.
Yeah. That's the whole point of this channel, is to inspire people, and it's to do my bit. And I've always thought that if I drop dead tomorrow, and on Judgment Day, God asked me, "What good did you do?" and not expect anything back, I've not really got much I can say. Mm-hmm. At least I can say I made some good content. At least something, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah. But talking about that, about this year, hopefully next year, hopefully being better. You've got some experience with crypto, haven't you?
Yes, I have got some experience with crypto.
Right. And how do you see it going? I mean, tell us more. Just talk to us. Crypto. So I invested. I don't like using that word because I didn't invest. It was probably gambled more than anything, right? Right.
I got into crypto in 2017. And I think Bitcoin was about £1,400 at the time.
Okay.
And my first kind of foray was £100 into Bitcoin. In 2017, we had a crazy bull run. I don't know if you remember it, but it was ridiculous. So I just started off slowly, right? Putting in a little bit. Okay, this is Bitcoin. We're about Ethereum. Okay, let me buy a little bit of Ethereum.
Okay.
So I think it was about £100 for one full Ethereum at the time. And then, all of the other coins. So there was XRP, right? There was stuff that you don't hear about anymore. There was stuff like Einsteinium.
Sorry, what's me? Sorry, Zulf, you were saying?
So basically, so my journey started with Bitcoin, and then Ethereum, and then XRP, and then coins that what you would call now shit coins, right?
Yeah.
So Einsteinium was one. There's so many others, and in the end, I probably had about 15, 20 different cryptocurrencies. And back then, there was an app called Blockfolio. I don't know if you remember that. So every day I was waking up and I'm just doing a refresh, and I'm up thousands of pounds.
Right, wow.
Every day I'm up thousands of pounds. Every day I'm up thousands of pounds. And this went on for a period for about 6 months, right? So that 2017 run was phenomenal. And I probably saw more money than I've ever seen in my life. For I legitimately thought I'm going to become a crypto millionaire in the space of a few more months or years or whatever. But then obviously it went down. So this was the first time I really invested in something. Again, I don't want to use that word because it wasn't really an investment. It was just me, trying something I didn't know anything about. And so what I should have done is cashed out at some point.
Take some profits.
You need to take profits off there. I didn't. I just started putting more and more in, and just kept on going down and down and down. And in the end, I did lose more than I made. But the thing with crypto, I think the most damaging part, which is I think what a lot of people really need to take stock of, is it killed my work rate.
Yeah, right, wow.
It absolutely killed my work rate, because you're waking up and you're seeing thousands. Why do I need to work here, right? You just get complacent, you get lazy. And it wasn't like 1 or 2 weeks, it was like a good 6 months where it just kept on. I mean, obviously there were drops, which you get in crypto, but for the majority of the part, it just kept going up and up and up. And I think that's the trap a lot of people are falling into with crypto. They think, I'm going to invest a little bit, I'm going to make a lot, and I'm not going to have to work.
It's not going to happen, is it?
It's not going to happen. Not anymore.
Right.
It might have happened. Well, it did happen if I took profits.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of opportunity where you can legitimately make a lot of money with a small amount of money, that's not going to happen now.
Okay, so now we've got Trump getting involved with crypto.
Yeah.
And he's been in my opinion, the main driving force over here. How do you see it panning out for next year?
So crypto isn't going anywhere, right? Crypto, obviously the blockchain technology, which is the technology behind crypto, which again, a lot of people are not really spending as much time on as they should.
Yeah.
Blockchain technology, again, it's a fantastic technology.
Yeah.
It is a technology that can free the world, but at the same time, it can imprison the world as well. And this comes back down to the people who are using it. So where I see the eventual future is, we're going to not be a cash-based society anymore. We are going to have some kind of blockchain currency that's governing our day-to-day, whether it's the digital pound or whatever.
Well, I'm assuming they're almost certainly going to bring in the digital pound.
Yeah.
And they've been using Quant as some sort of testing with UK banks.
Mm-hmm.
So how that will affect the price of the average person has got, because Quant's at maximum supply now.
Right.
So how that will affect the price of Quant, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I've just thought it's a good hedge just to own some, just to be on the safe side.
For years they were saying XRP, Ripple was going to be the one.
Yeah.
Right? That was supposed to be the one.
Yeah. But the UK banks have all been testing Quant because it's a British company.
Yeah, okay.
So the British government was pushing that one to the front. And those tests were done last year.
Okay.
So let's see now what happens. But fingers crossed. I'm hoping that what's going to happen is Trump knows that he's got to win the midterm elections next year.
Yeah.
That's in November time. So, and he's going to pump most of his money. The only thing we can depend on is Trump's corruption. Right? He's got a lot of money in crypto now.
Yeah.
His sons have got
His sons have got
a lot of money in crypto. And he knows he's got to pump that market hard in order for them to make their money.
Yeah.
And a lot of the crypto people have voted him in power as well. If they abandon him in the midterm elections, which is November 2028, he's done for. So my gut feeling is he's going to pump it hard.
Okay.
And try and do something.
Yeah.
So, and then everything will be forgiven. Even when we brought out his own meme coin, and his wife did the same thing.
Yeah.
And there'd been quite a few transactions or trades happening where people knew beforehand that he was going to say something.
Mm.
and it would pump the market, crash the market. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to bring a lot of the national debt or make all of the stable coins backed by US Treasuries.
Yes.
And in order for them to cover the loss of the lack of treasuries being brought by the Chinese and the Far East and the Saudis, by them nations, they've really got to push that market a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
The price of Bitcoin has got to go to a lot higher.
Yeah.
And his sons own some of the biggest Bitcoin mines in America now.
Okay.
So that's my only thing I've got faith in his corruption
Yep.
at the moment.
So is your strategy then, are you a Bitcoin maxi or are you into other cryptos?
Other cryptos as well. I think what they're going to do in particular, I think we're still, a lot of people are thinking that the bull run's over, right? Or my gut feeling is it hasn't really even started.
Okay.
That's my gut feeling here.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's going to happen with Bitcoin, I think it's going to go a lot higher than people think.
Yeah, well, Bitcoin will definitely.
Yeah, it will shoot a lot higher.
The cryptos, I don't know, but Bitcoin's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I think you've got certain AI coins as well, such as BitTensor. That one's really going to fly.
Yeah.
It's got its own ecosystem as well.
Mm-hmm.
That whole ecosystem will fly as well.
Yeah.
And then, so I think it's all really going to do well. But yeah, I think we're not going to see what roughly what we saw in 2017. It won't be like that because not every coin can pump that hard.
At that time, every coin.
Yeah.
Literally every single coin. Rocket, moon, whatever.
Yeah.
As they say.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen now.
No.
I think there's a lot of the major ones. I think Bitcoin will go through the roof. I think it'll be literally worth its weight in gold.
Yes.
I think Trump's going to be forced to revalue gold. That dollar's crashing.
Yeah.
We're seeing the end of the American empire.
Mm-hmm.
And that means the end of the American financial empire in particular. They've been printing money willy-nilly to pay for this military of theirs all across the world. They've never had the money for it.
Yeah.
And it's all worthless paper they've really been printing. And so I think he's going to have to revalue gold. So gold's going to pump, silver's going to pump. The price of Bitcoin will hit potentially, I think, at least $250,000, maybe a lot more. So I think in terms of a long-term investment, you really can't go wrong with Bitcoin. I think even with Ethereum, you can't go wrong. So a lot of the bigger chains where they're going to be used, they've got their own ecosystems. You can have smart contracts being introduced and so on. So I think the government will start. What they want to do is, the Trump sons in particular, they know that they were debanked after their father lost power. They went from having 100% mortgages to being fully debanked.
Wow. Okay.
So they want to push everything, DeFi, push it all into crypto. So the big banks lose out. That's what the Bank of England is trying to avoid over here because they know they would lose a massive amount of power. So they're saying, no, we're not going to stable coins the way they are, but we're going into the digital pound.
Yeah.
Big crucial difference there. So yeah, that's my gut feeling there. But fingers crossed, let's see how it goes. My gut feeling is it'll pump very hard. But you also used to cover conspiracy theories in your podcast, didn't you?
So my podcast was called The Minotaur's Maze.
Right.
Based on the Greek myth Theseus and the Minotaur, where the half bull, half beast Minotaur was terrorizing people. So I used it as a symbolic thing where we've all got internal Minotaurs, fears, doubts, insecurities, and then we've got external Minotaurs, which are challenges, obstacles, whatever. So the premise was people come on and they talk about their Minotaurs, their challenges, their issues, and how they overcame them. So I've had people on there talk about their business journeys, people that have been buying businesses, for example, others about their health journeys, but I've also had people talk about the occult and magic and that kind of stuff, and that's stuff that's just always fascinated me. So first and foremost, I use my podcast to overcome my fear of speaking. So it was a personal development tool, which I encourage everyone to do, right? When you're creating content, videos or whatever, see it as a personal development journey first and foremost. And then the second thing for me was just to explore my interests.
Right.
So I just went across the board.
So you were talking about the occult and so on. So what things really stuck out from you from there that you really thought, wow?
So one of the individuals that I interviewed, his name was Vikem. Solomonic Magic was his kind of online thing. So he studied a lot of
Solomonic Magic.
Solomonic Magic. So it's a type of magic based on Solomon.
Okay.
As well as his Prophet Suleiman. Obviously, the fables go, he had control of the jinn.
Right, so people, just so you know, he used to control jinns. He had power over them, and he'd get them to do things such as create buildings and so, and you perform tasks for him.
Yep. So connected to the occult, basically. So it's a specific type of magic and rituals and whatnot. But there's one thing that he said to me which blew my mind. I can't verify this. I don't know if it's true or not. But he said his mentor, I've forgotten what is John something. He said his mentor was actually working with the UAE government on their space program.
Really? Wow.
Why is an occultist working with the UAE government on their space program?
Yeah.
I found that very interesting.
Right.
Again, I don't know if it's true or not, but there was no reason for him to lie, because it was almost a footnote, side note of the podcast, not a main kind of thing. And he didn't really think twice away. But I'm like, this is a Muslim country we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? The occult, it's haram. We're not supposed to be delving in this.
Yeah, yeah. They're very strict about that.
Yeah, so
they're very, very strict about that.
So you're saying this Muslim country is using an occultist for their space program? Can't be right, but that I found interesting.
In those countries, you can still be persecuted for witchcraft.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a serious offence.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, because what a lot of people, viewers at home, won't know is that the Middle East used to be the centre of witchcraft.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was seen as being a very real thing over there.
Yeah.
And there's certain, I'm not going to repeat the name of the book, there's a certain book, Arabic book, which contains, it's the world's encyclopedia of spells and so on.
Right.
So.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Do you know which book I'm talking about?
Probably, but
yeah. I'd rather not repeat his name because people start googling.
Yeah,
it.
you know, you don't want to.
Yeah. So it's something to stay away from. And but yeah. So, what's your thoughts? Did King Solomon, was he controlling jinns?
Yeah, I think that's. I think so. Yeah, I mean, the stories are there, but I think what's, again, depending on how far you go with these conspiracy theories. So there's talk about Solomon's treasure, or the lost treasure of Solomon, and people have assumed that was gold and jewels and whatnot. But the conspiracy theory, I mean, I used to read a lot of conspiracy theories back in the day, but the conspiracy theory was that the real gold were the lost books of magic, of how to control jinn and all of this other stuff. And the Knights Templar found those books back in the day during the Crusades, and that's how they became powerful overnight, because they started delving in black magic and whatnot. And they were the start of the modern day secret societies, which you hear a lot about, the Illuminati, the elite, the Cabal, the blood rituals in Hollywood. All of that started back from those days, because they found this lost treasure of Solomon and how to control.
Right. So, do you believe in the Illuminati? Sorry, Illuminati.
I don't believe.
Sorry, let me ask that question. Do you believe in the Illuminati?
I don't believe in the Illuminati the way it's put out in popular culture, but I do believe there's elite people out there.
Right.
Who they are, we don't know.
Right.
They use, in my opinion, they do use black magic. They use whatever they can do for whatever means to stay rich, or whatever it is that they're trying to do. There's some sick people out there, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I believe that these rituals do happen. I believe Hollywood is satanic. I believe a lot of the, I suppose, the music videos that we see, they just cast the curses and spells, right?
Right.
So
my view is, obviously there's a small group of people who seem to control everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about that in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to have a hold over certain societies, and most societies in particular. And I think in particular, I believe there are beings maybe who have been alive for the last few thousand years, who have been manipulating far more than we think.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a certain amount of super intelligence involved. And this has been used to control human societies, going back a long way, thousands of years even. So this is my gut feeling over here.
Okay. And are those beings jinn or something else?
Something else.
Okay.
Something else. That's my gut feeling here.
And what's did you come across this somewhere, or how did this view of yours?
Okay. Now, many people in the American military are coming forward now and saying, look, clearly someone has access to advanced tech.
Yeah.
We're seeing it in the skies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, UAPs they're calling it, and even underwater. We've been seeing it underwater in particular for a long time. Mm-hmm. We've seen objects hitting 25 Mach underwater. Mm-hmm. That's not possible.
Yeah.
But somehow they're doing it. Mm-hmm. Right? We're seeing, we've seen UAPs being filmed multiple times before AI stuff came in, doing impossible right angle turns at huge speed, traveling at immense speed. Now, so someone's got the technological capability beyond us.
Yeah.
And it appears to be some form of technology, right? And people have been referencing this, going back all the way, all the way back a few thousand years.
Yeah.
The Book of Enoch, right? And some of it where, I'm not saying I agree with this, right? Where what I'm saying is, for example, there was some people do believe that, especially high up in the American military, that a lot of these UAPs we're seeing, they're demonic. It's connected to demons, spirits,
the
jinns.
guy who created the atomic bomb, Jack Parsons.
Yes.
Very deep in the occult.
Yes, they were. A lot of them were very deep in the occult.
He was an occultist.
Yeah.
Right. How many rituals must he have? How did he come across that?
Yeah.
Technology? The Aleister Crowley, a very famous occultist.
Yes. Yeah.
He had something to do with him as well. I think I can't remember. I studied this a lot, but there's a lot of that stuff happening, but it gets brushed under the carpet because it's magical fantasy. Well, what is magic?
Yeah.
Magic is simply the manipulation of energy to achieve whatever means. Some people use dark entities and dark rituals to change the energy, but you can even something that might not be considered magic, but if you're feeling down and glum, how do you change your energy? You start exercising, you start moving about. So that's a form of magic, in that you're changing your energy.
Absolutely. I would say to any basic civilization, if they saw advanced technology, they would always consider it magic.
Yes, 100%.
And that's where, if we look at in particular the Book of Enoch, they were describing things coming down from the sky.
Yes.
And Enoch was taken into the sky and saw the earth from above. And it's all been explained like this. So certain parts of the American military where they said it's demonic because they say it's trying to ruin their Christian faith, because they said there were certain beings, such as the beings that I mentioned to you, where people believe that beings are in charge. They were called Elohim.
Yeah, and I think in the Bible they call them Anunnaki. Or something.
Yeah. And there wasn't one, there was multiple.
Yeah.
And they ruled over Earth. And they apparently had something to do with the creation of humans.
Yeah. So I think that's popular in the Mexican tradition.
Yeah.
And I think they call the two gods in that tradition Enki and Enlil.
Yeah.
They were two brothers.
Yes.
They came
Sumerians, they were. That's what I'm talking about,
to mine gold.
Yeah.
They turned on each other or something, and then they created humans to basically mine gold and sell them as masters. So that's a popular tradition. I think it's in the Mexican tradition.
No, sorry, that's Sumerian tradition.
Sumerian tradition.
Sumerian,
okay, yeah.
But every tradition seems to have some sort of angle on that in particular.
Yeah.
Building pyramids, building these large kind of structures.
Yeah.
And a fascination in particular. So that's a Sumerian history where they said they came here, they descended from the heavens. They had a father in heaven as well. He was in charge of everything. So they came down here, and I don't understand, if they had that advanced tech, why could they not transmute gold?
Yeah.
But if you're that far ahead, but apparently they weren't that far ahead. They came here by ships from another star system, and it wasn't really a different star system. It was I think, something along the lines of, for example, how Saturn is for us.
Yeah.
And one of the moons around it. And they got from there, and they're exploring Earth, and they realised, hang on a second, there's lots of gold here. We can use gold to protect our atmosphere over there. So that's why they came here, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what the Sumerian tablets say.
Yeah.
God knows if it's true or not, but it's...
Yeah, you don't know. Obviously, we're never going to know the truth on these kinds of things, but I think what's interesting is there's theories out there that there are parallel universes in existence right now where we are, right? So there's different entities and different beings. So when I did those podcasts, some of them were people who tried DMT and ayahuasca.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know if you're aware of that, but I read this book a long time ago by Dr. Rick Strassman called the DMT, the Spirit Molecule.
Yeah.
So this was a good 20 years ago, so my memory might not be exactly correct, but I remember him saying something like, when he administered DMT to these patients, they started having contact with beings. They couldn't say what they were. but they had these beings that they were in touch with, and some people had absolutely horrible
Yes,
experiences,
bad
nightmares,
experiences, yeah.
some had blissful
Yeah.
experiences, and when he talked about it, he said the people that had the bad experiences, they were just generally in a negative state of mind, right? So, and I find that interesting because today we see people talking about the law of attraction and positive energy, which we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
You know, maybe negative energy is what brings these negative entities towards you, and we're constantly on these negative energies at the moment, and maybe this is why so many people are so depressed and down. And
Well, this is it. I think some of the theories are that they feed off us.
They feed off negative energy,
Yeah,
right? So
our emotions.
that's part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I even spoke to people that have actually tried ayahuasca, and some of them said it was the greatest experience they've ever had.
Yeah.
They got to experience Jesus Christ speaking to them.
Wow.
Others were like, yeah, it was all right, it was a good fun, it was a good trip, but nothing of it. Others have been like, it was absolutely demonic, I would never do it again, I would never tell anybody to do it again. And I became a devout Christian because of this.
Yeah.
So everyone has different experiences, but I think it's clear to say that there is something else out there.
Absolutely,
whether
yeah.
you experience it just depends on your state of mind and whether you do certain rituals, which obviously we advise not to, because obviously we know what we want to do as Muslims.
As Muslims, don't ever do it. Never
pray
do
to
it.
Mars,
Yeah.
pray to God, keep a clean heart, clean intentions, do good things. But what I find interesting is a lot of people that I spoke to is they're just normal people, right? You might think they're in magic, they're in the occult, that they're dark or whatever. Not, they're just normal people, just interested in this kind of stuff, and then they've just gone and done it. And one of the books I read a long time ago, again, in that he explains that the whole point of magic isn't to rule over other people to get riches, it's to elevate your soul.
Right.
And I found that interesting because in the spiritual tradition, why are we doing what we're doing? To elevate our soul so that we can become closer to God.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they had a different rule book to try and do the same thing, but then it got not hijacked, but there's the other side of it where you can actually use these things for darker purposes, which is probably why it got outlawed, because it can be very dangerous and devastating if done wrong.
My gut feeling is when we talk about UFOs, demons, spirits, it's all somehow related.
Yeah. Have you heard of a guy called Geordie Rose?
Yes.
So I think they had a company, quantum computing company, and that video's on YouTube, so you can check it out. And he says they were able to communicate with these higher beings, whatever that means.
Right.
And he specifically said as these higher beings are indifferent to humans. They don't care.
Yeah.
Humans to them are like answer to us.
Yeah.
Whether they die or live, or it doesn't matter. They just and he's saying quantum computing allowed them to communicate or channel these kind of beings. Again, who knows if it's true, but it's probably right down your alley.
So that is a new one, to be honest, but I'll be looking into that. But there's a lot of people who claim to be able to do channeling.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken with many of them.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know if it's really a metaphor. Okay, because usually what would happen is I did a course in hypnotherapy.
Okay.
So I became a qualified hypnotist.
All right.
Right. So in creative NVQ level 2 in creative hypnotherapy.
Brilliant.
So I did that, and there was lots of post-life regression.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I'm a Muslim. We're both Muslims here. There's not meant to be post-life regression.
Mm-hmm.
But they were all in some sort of... They were speaking to people or seeing former versions of themselves. Something was clearly going on there. Clearly going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there thinking, okay, in theory, it's a case of it's all a metaphor for something. It's how your subconscious mind communicates with the conscious mind.
Yes.
Because it's unable to directly communicate with it.
Yeah.
And it talks with it through metaphors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was the understanding over here. Maybe it's that in particular.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were doing channeling,
Mm-hmm.
where they would simply channel stuff. And I saw some freaky stuff.
Okay.
Right? There's one person, it got me banged to rights because he was channeling and he turned around and said, something's just entered the room. And one of the blokes brought his dogs in for the day or something like that. They went ballistic.
Okay.
They went ballistic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So he was there. He said something's entered the room, and he pointed, and the dogs were right where they was pointing to, going ballistic, and it freaked everyone out.
Yeah. Well, they say dogs can sense.
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
can't they?
And then at some point, the doors just slammed shut. Right? He says, "Oh, it's left," and the dog stopped barking. I mean, it was pretty clear cut from what I was observing over there.
Okay.
It was 100% clear cut.
So you saw this?
I saw this with my own eyes,
Okay, right.
and it was clear cut. That was the matrix, and people were just panicking at that stage. And I was there thinking, "Can I make some money from this?" You know. But yeah. So, do you believe in, for example, ghosts or apparitions? Have you had anyone on your podcast talk about that, or?
Not ghosts. Do I personally believe? I think stuff like that does exist.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think
I've seen one.
Okay, you have.
Right. Okay. So basically, right. I'm quite religious. Well, I used to be. I was borderline atheist at one point.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So I just, for various reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
None of them good, right? And I was working. I was contracting. And whoever paid me the most money, I'd go there and work. I see a contractor, good money. And I was once staying in a house, and the house was haunted.
Right. Okay.
No ifs, no buts. And at the time, I didn't really believe in anything. Yet all this stuff was clearly happening around. Clearly. I mean, I'd come home, I'd shut the door, and the stench of rotting milk would hit me.
Okay.
Right? And then it'd disappear. And I was thinking, have I studied something? Have I done something? I'd be smelling the floor, and there's no rotting milk here. I couldn't understand. Went upstairs to my bedroom, opened the door, and then all of a sudden I'm hit with the smell of. It's like if your mother's baking bread at home and she's opened the oven door. A wall of smell of baking bread.
Okay.
Hits me. Where the hell does this come from? I'm in the house alone.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right. It was a very small house, and the owner was living away, and gave me the whole house. I had one room. They had one room. It was a 2-bedroom house. And I was there thinking, this is bizarre. At night, I'd hear footsteps every night without fail. And I was there thinking, no, they had the heating on automatic control. I was like, it must be the pipes expanding. There has to be a logical reason. Has to be. There's no proof of ghosts or spirits. It can't be that. It can't be that. And then one day I asked the landlord, I go, I'm hearing all this stuff, I'm smelling all this stuff. If you ever experienced it, they go, yeah, once someone opened the door and sat on the bed. I go, you what? Now you're telling me.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I'm like, okay. And then I was there thinking, no, I still wasn't believing it. Because of the viewpoint I had. So then I went downstairs, and then this is one day after work, I'm sat there, I'm watching TV, and I just knew someone was going to knock on the door. If you just look somewhere, you think someone's about to come in. I knew it was there. And all of a sudden the door was open. I thought it was some sort of distortion. It was an apparition. When I initially saw it, I thought it's like, do you know how the Predator film?
Yeah.
There's a distortion.
Yeah.
Right? I thought as an alien just walked into the room.
Oh wow. Okay.
With a personalised cloaking device. But the problem was it was a very small alien. It was about 4 foot tall. And I was thinking, this is really small. And I'm thinking, if that's an alien, you've got to rugby tackle it, you might be able to get some technology and make some money from it. That was my initial thought, yeah. But I was frozen to the spot with a primeval fear. Right? And then I realised, as I was looking at the distortion more and more, it was becoming clearer. And it was a girl skipping.
Oh wow. Okay.
A young child, old-fashioned dress with pigtails. And as she was skipping, the pigtails were swinging like that. Then she clocked on that I could see her. She ran out of the room.
Wow.
She ran out of the room, the door was open, and then I just saw her, and this is the most terrifying bit, she just poked her head through there. I could see one of the pigtails swinging like that. And she was looking at me. Right? And then just ran off. At that point, I thought, damn the contract, I'm done, I'm gone from here. Forget the contract. Wow. I don't care how much they pay me. It's a good day rate. I thought, I'm getting out of here. I thought, before I do that, I'm calling home, asking my mother. And I called home, and she goes, did you sense anything evil? I go, absolutely nothing. He goes, what do you sense? I go, a childlike innocence. He goes, you've got nothing to be worried about.
Okay.
My dad goes, he was screaming for the phone. And he goes, if you get it on camera, how much do you think it'll be worth? I go, look, Dadass, you nailed it, loads. So then I was trying to capture it on camera then, yeah.
Okay.
Right? Every evening without fail, trying to capture it on camera, nothing would happen.
Nothing would happen.
The smells would come in every now and again and so on. So when you try and chase after these things,
No.
I 100%, no ifs, no buts, I saw something.
Okay.
I ex-
Even if you get something on camera now, nobody's going to believe it.
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
AI anyway.
It's done by AI, yeah. So that was the one time when I saw it, and it was terrifying because reality was breaking down around me.
Yeah.
That was the most terrifying thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that after that, things changed rapidly. When I realised there's a lot more to life than what you can see.
100%. 100%.
And my viewpoint changed and so on, so really. But yeah, so have you ever experienced anything like that ever?
Personally, no. Thankfully, no. No.
Right, yeah.
Right. But again, some of the people that I had on the podcast, it's their jobs to communicate with non-living entities.
Really?
Right? Yeah. So I think one of them, Occult Hours, her name was. She was communicating with an entity called Hecate or something.
Right.
According to her, so she's constantly in communication with this being, but she's also doing spells and rituals to protect people from these things, right? Even from our tradition, right? We've got duas to protect ourselves from this stuff. So to say that this stuff doesn't exist, well, why do we have protection for it then?
Absolutely, yeah.
Why is it outlawed?
Yeah.
If it doesn't exist, you don't outlaw something that doesn't exist. It's outlawed because it's dangerous and you need to keep away from it.
Right. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Yeah.
So thankfully I haven't experienced it myself, but you hear stories from other people. Most people will not be brave enough to put it on camera like you just did.
Yeah.
But in private, I've had people say they've had these kinds of experiences, but
I've had one other experience which I'm not prepared to talk about.
Oh wow, okay.
But that was just a surefire.
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, no buts. I saw it happen.
Right. Wow.
And
all in the UK or were you abroad?
All in the UK.
Wow. Okay.
All in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing it confirmed for me was time is very different to what we think it is. That's it's not what we think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it is possible to see ahead and predict things to extreme accuracy.
Okay.
Extreme accuracy.
Okay.
So yeah. But anyway, so Zulfeh, do you want to finish on anything, or do you want to make any more points before we finish off?
We went through a lot.
We've covered a lot there.
You cover one or two things, and I think we've covered a lot there. So appreciate obviously you having me on.
No, thank you for coming down. Appreciate it.
It's been a while since I've had a conversation like this. It's been a few years since I've done my podcast, so it's been good to kind of relive these conversations. But yeah, I mean, I suppose the final message is, be more positive, right? There's a lot of good out there.
Absolutely.
The more you focus on the negative, the more you're going to come across it. So just take little steps, build the right network of people, and just build something, right? There's a lot of opportunity out there. Still in the UK, there's a lot of opportunity out there. Connect with the right people, work hard, and make something happen. And inshallah, something will happen.
All right, Zulfeh, I want to say keep it up with the good content.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Everybody's seeing you around. Yeah? So keep going with the content, my brother, yeah?
Thank you. Appreciate that. Same with you. Obviously, I've been seeing content. This is why we were allowed to make this happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, I put the content about this. 2 DMs. We've exchanged numbers. He's invited me to his house. How does that happen on TikTok?
Yeah,
right?
it
doesn't happen unless you see the content time and time again, which content is seeds. The more you plant, eventually they will come to fruition. So good work with you as well.
Brilliant. Excellent. All right, everybody. Hopefully, inshallah, if you're in Manchester, give me a shout again. We'll meet up soon, brother, yeah?
Take care.
Okay. Right.